Hello, and welcome back to Surviving a Guide to Surviving Stroke and Brain Injury. I know I just posted one earlier, but I got an email from Flint Rehab, and I was intrigued by the title, first of all, because it's amazing, and this is what I wish for the people I love to know. So it's called What Every Stroke Survivor Wished You Knew. I don't want people to think that I'm mad at them or for doing some of these things, but my frustrations are shared by many of the survivors that I know. This was just put so plainly in layman's terms that I felt compelled to share it with you guys. So the term stroke victim, if you're wondering what to say to a stroke survivor, just say that, survivor. The term victim is often perceived as a negative label. It's much better to use survivor, or even better, warrior. Why? Because that's what we are. We're warriors. We survived the most horrendous thing, and we're still here. And we're warriors because every single day, every single minute, we are doing something to better ourselves. And so we're warriors. So here are the few tips they shared this week that I think everyone should be hyper aware of. Number 1, I am not stupid. I'm wounded. Please respect me. A stroke is a brain attack that deprives oxygen-rich blood to parts of the brain. The damage that caused different skills like walking or speech, to name a few. This does not mean that the person has lost intelligence, people. Do you hear me? But rather, they might need more time to find words or speak correctly. Do not shout. Do not yell. They can likely hear you just fine. Just be patient. Number 2, be as patient with me the 20th time you teach me something as you were the first time. So stroke recovery means relearning everything. And I mean, for me, it was everything. To roll over, to sit up, to talk, to walk. I mean, many survivors feel just like I did that they were their child again. Learning everything from the very beginning. You would not grow impatient with a child if you were teaching them how to ride a bike for the first time, would you? So don't grow impatient with your loved one either. Number 3, protect my energy. No radio, no TV, or nervous visitors. During stroke recovery, the brain needs stimulation in order to heal itself, but it needs specific stimulation and not too much. For example, the stimulation of doing like hand exercise is good. It helps rewire the brain and improves hand function. But the stimulation of background noise drains the limited energy that a healing brain has. This is one of the reasons mindfulness is important during stroke recovery. If you look back at I can't remember what video it was, maybe several, I don't have any music on. And that is because my brain can only function focusing on one thing at a time. It has a hard time focusing at all. But let's use this as an example. If I'm doing my marching exercises and I hear a song on the radio, that may distract my brain from what I'm doing to the song I like. So it's very important to limit that stimulation, if you can, if possible, to one thing at a time. Number 4, Please make eye contact with me. I am here. Come find me. Encourage me. If someone avoids eye contact with you, it would be upsetting, annoying, and extremely hurtful. Everyone feels that way, including stroke survivors. You don't need to worry about what to say, but focus on more of how you're going to say it. With eye contact, please. So when you avoid us, when you shift your eyes to somewhere else and act like you don't see us or something, that is so very hurtful, just like it would to you. So imagine feeling kind of vain, I guess, for being this way, being in a wheelchair, or not being able to talk right, or I walk drunk, so walk and talk drunk, so everybody prejudges me. And it's worse when a person will avoid me. That makes it feel like, well, it's because I'm like this. If you truly care about that person, you won't do that to them. Number 5, do not assess my cognitive ability by how fast I think, because it's not very fast. After stroke, the brain is busy rewiring itself through neuroplasticity. I talk about it all the time. During this process, the healthy areas of the brain begin to pick up the slack for the damaged areas, and this takes time. In the meantime, the brain is struggling to heal itself, and it may take a survivor additional time to retrieve that information. This does not mean they have lost their intelligence. They are simply experiencing a delay in gathering the information. So, again, in my earlier videos, I put up a can of Mountain Dew, and I said, I know this is a can of Dew. I know it's called a can, but when it comes out of my mouth, in certain times, I'll say chicken. Don't know why. Doesn't mean I'm dumb. Doesn't mean I don't know that it's a can or what the purpose for it is. I just literally cannot tell you what it's called. And that has gotten better. Thank the Lord that it's gotten better, because that was horrible. Like eyeglasses. I couldn't say eyeglasses. I would sit there and point, and I could not think of what they were called. But that doesn't mean I don't know what their function is. I put my glasses on. I take them off when I wash my face. I put them on when I watch TV. I put them on when I drive. I know what the function is, but I cannot remember what the name is. It isn't there anymore. I don't know how to explain it. It's so frustrating. But just because I think that way does not mean I can't think of how. Let me put it this way. Do not think I'm dumb because I can't say what it is. Number 6, repeat yourself. Assume I know nothing and start from the beginning over and over again. I know this is funny, but it's so true. I'm laughing because it's true. I mean, okay. So as the brain heals itself, it requires more energy to retrieve and relearn incoming information. So when a survivor has a hard time understanding you, take the time to provide the information in smaller steps. Putting the pieces together is an extra and unnecessary step and kind of condescending. Instead, repeat everything, and please be patient when you do it. Please be patient. Patient. Because I don't mean to be that way. Number 7, stimulate my brain when I have energy, but know the small amounts may wear me out quickly. It's perfectly normal to require more sleep after stroke. Survivors may find that wanting a nap immediately after rehab exercises, even right after getting ready in the morning. As a matter of fact, Jessica and I were talking about taking a shower. There's no such thing as a quick shower anymore since I had the stroke. It's impossible. I take about an hour, and I'm aware of it when I'm in the shower. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be faster, and I wash my hair, and I shave, and I wash my body, and then I have to wipe down the shower doors, and so I'm aware of what I'm doing, but it still takes me a freaking hour, whether I shave or I don't shave. So, I don't know. And afterwards, I'm exhausted. It feels like I just ran a marathon. My brain, my everything is like, okay, gotta lay down for a while. So tasks that once felt effortless may require a tremendous amount of effort now. Remember, the healing brain requires frequent rest periods to rewire. Stimulation is good, and often sleep afterwards is necessary for recovery. Number 8. Please, please do not raise your voice. I'm not deaf, I'm wounded. So when a stroke survivor asks you to repeat yourself, they just want you to repeat yourself. They don't want you to repeat yourself louder. Saying something louder is not going to help them process it better. So do not be condescending, because that is condescending when you do that to me. Sometimes people speak so quickly, I cannot physically process everything that they just said. And it seems like I'm not paying attention to them, but I simply cannot keep up. I can't. And whenever I ask somebody, could you say that again? They assume that I'm either deaf or that I'm just stupid. And it's neither. I just cannot process the information you just gave me. And sometimes Jessica will have to tell me, okay, slow down, repeat yourself, what did you say? And I do the same for her. I mean, it's not just for normal people, it's for stroke survivors too. Because sometimes I get pretty excited and I start spewing out vomiting words. But patience, compassion, and slowing down your speech are more effective ways to boost communication. Okay? Number 9. My desire to sleep has everything to do with my healing brain. It has nothing to do with laziness. Did you hear that? I will repeat it if you want me to. My desire to sleep, go nighty, has everything to do with my healing brain. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me being lazy. Stroke causes damage to the brain that must be healed. Just a broken leg requires time and energy to heal, right? So does the brain. When a survivor desires sleep instead of doing something productive, it's not because they're being lazy. It's because their brain is healing and requires rest to recover. So, and I've heard too that people say, well, if you sleep too much, you're depressed. No, I am telling you, I'm exhausted from doing what I just did. So I need to take a break. That conversation that you and I just had, that exhausted me. I need to rest. And while I'm resting, rewiring my brain is taking place. It's recovering and healing. I don't know how else to explain it, but number 10. Please have patience with my memory. Stroke can affect a survivor's short-term and or long-term memory. It can also affect cognition. If a loved one doesn't remember something that you told them a month, a day, or even an hour ago, please don't take it personally. Be kind and patient with their recovery. And Jessica and I have had this discussion too, because I'll just tell you. So, I think it was about a year ago, she called my son. She was amazing and decided she was going to try to bring forth some communication between us. So she called him. And so she called me to tell me what took place. He didn't answer. She texted him too. He didn't reply. And so about, I think it was a couple weeks, maybe a month later, she brought it up again. And I'm like, wait, what? How did you get his number? You called him? And she, God bless her, she is so wonderful, but she sat there and she's like, started from the beginning and said, yeah, I told you about this, but I'll tell you about it again. So I called him, and she started from the beginning. She was so gracious and compassionate, and I started bawling because I was sad because I didn't remember that, because I know she wasn't lying. I mean, what gain would she get from that? So that's kind of an example of short-term, long-term memory loss. Since then, I have been able to retain some more information, but now I sit there and think, did that really happen? And I'll have to call my brother and say, did this happen? And this happened like a couple months ago. I called him and I go, did CU ask you to be the coach? And he goes, never happened. So, you have to ask people that you trust, number one. And number two, your memory doesn't always serve you right. So, but anyway, please have patience with my memory. Number 11, when I'm stuck, try not to take over, please. During recovery, a little coaching or suggesting might be helpful. Taking over and doing something is not helpful. Constantly doing everything puts us at risk of a phenomenon called learned non-use. Learned non-use. It's a real thing. Essentially, functions that you stop using will eventually become lost as the brain lets go of a necessary function or because you aren't letting them use them. Movement is key to recovery, so avoid taking over. Instead, help them accomplish tasks with good form and safety. I know this has got to be so frustrating for you guys to see us struggling to do things. Thankfully, nobody lives with me, so nobody gets to watch me struggle with the laundry folding and washing the dishes. I'm sure it has to be so incredibly frustrating to watch somebody do those things. But here's the deal. If you don't let us do it, we won't rewire our brains so we can do them correctly someday. So you gotta let us do it. You got to. I'm sorry, but you do. And number 12. I'm not being emotional. I'm recovering. I just did this in my video this morning. So, try to be compassionate if they display emotional changes. Sometimes strokes can affect the emotion center of the brain and affects a survivor's ability to manage their emotions. It's called emotional lability. Also, strokes create sudden life changes for a survivor. Meaningful activities like hobbies and jobs might be lost. This was my case. This can lead to depression. So put yourself in their shoes. If everything changed overnight like it did for me, and you had no control over it, Wouldn't you feel emotion about that too? Wouldn't you be mad? Wouldn't you be sad? Especially if you're trapped in your head like me, like I was, and couldn't verbalize your frustrations. My arm, this whole right side was paralyzed, so I couldn't even punch my pillow or do anything to physically or verbally express my emotions. So when I finally could, I think it came out all wrong. And plus, too, my emotion center was messed up for a long time, so I was angry for no reason. I would laugh for no reason. I still cry, but at least I cry for for reason. But before I could hold it in, and now I can't. So, but I'm working on it. It's getting better. And finally, number 13. I'm going to try not to cry for this because when I read it, I did cry. So, this is very serious, and I want you to pay attention, please. I need you to love me, both for who I have become and for who I might become. So, a lot of you that's been following my videos know that a lot of my friends and family did not like who I became. Sorry, and they left. Thankfully, though, God has replaced and brought back a lot of important people that do love me for who I am now. And some of them did know me before and know me now, and I'm so grateful they still love me. But during the stroke recovery, the goal is usually to get back to normal. However, for many survivors, there's a new normal. There are many emotional, behavioral, and even personality changes that can occur after stroke. I'm trying not to cry, I'm sorry. Sometimes the changes go away on their own, thank God, because my emotions, my anger, I guess, was out of control, and I'm glad that's behind me now. But other times, they are here to stay. It is important to find acceptance for the here and now. Caregivers should support their loved ones in finding this acceptance. You can help by cherishing your loved one for who they are now instead of what was in the past. Because trust me, if I could go back, I would. In a heartbeat. I miss that person. I wish I did know who that person was. And because it would make it so hard to be like this now. But on the other hand, I received many blessings because this happened. And so, it is what it is. I hate that saying. It's like saying, whatever. But anyway, so celebrate little victories, big victories, and in between. Celebrate being alive, because we all know we're so lucky to have survived this. And just keep trying and plugging along, because I believe we can beat it, and I believe in you, and I believe in rewiring, honestly. So, celebrate every victory. Please comment if you have any other, pet peeves or concerns or issues that you find that you don't know how to deal with. Maybe Jessica and I can answer it for you. I hope so. And if not, we'll find out the answer. So, love you guys. Have a great night. See you soon.